Hello, and welcome to my spoiler review of Disney's The Jungle Book. From its breathtaking visuals to the excellent voice acting, this movie has something for everyone. I really enjoyed this movie, and I'm really looking forward to discussing it with you guys. So for the first few parts of the review, it's going to be non-spoilers. I'll tell you when the spoilers are coming, and if you want to stay for the spoilers, please do, but if you want to click the back button, click it, and then come back and discuss the spoilers after you have seen the movie, because it's very good. So more or less, the movie is divided into three parts. It's the threat of Shere Khan, the journey of Mowgli, and then Mowgli vs. Shere Khan. And honestly, the movie is pretty close to its 1967 adaptation, with a few minor changes and a few characters sort of lose development that they might have had in the original 1967 movie, but then that's transferred to other characters. But overall, I like the direction that the movie took. I've enjoyed every live-action Disney fairy tale film since it started with Alice in Wonderland. In all honesty, the one I enjoyed the least was Alice in Wonderland, but I really like the direction that Jon Favreau took The Jungle Book in, because it's very good. Like I said in the beginning, the visuals are amazing. If this was how animals would talk, it's downright accurate. Or I should say, if animals could talk, this is how it would be, because the way that the bear, Baloo looks, the way Bagheera looks, the way the wolves look, the way Shere Khan looks, it's so lifelike, so right in front of you, and it really feels that they are speaking to Mowgli. It's fantastic, and the visuals of the animals' facial expressions is phenomenal. It's so good. Idris Elba and Lupita Nyong'o are so great in their voice acting. I have the names of the characters. So Lupita Nyong'o plays Rakasha, or Raksha, I believe, and Raksha is Mowgli's mother, and she's so good in her role, Lupita. I love it. I love the power and beauty that she places into the wolf. Well, at the same time, Idris Elba, is so strong and so, I guess he's able to pretty much inflict fear to the audience as his voice of Shere Khan. It's very good. And also, Neel Sethi as Mowgli, great. He's really great, and he really is running this movie. He's pretty much doing this by himself. He's dealing with no one around him, as the movie was produced, and he's doing such a great job. Like I said, I really believe that the animals were there, but as an actor, it's very good. Like, just the way he's able to deal with the fake animals, it's excellent. So that's more or less the non-spoiler part of it, because I want to really talk about it, but the voice acting, the visuals are so great. Like, I really feel the animals are there. I feel that the acting of Neel Sethi was excellent, and I can only say go see it. So now we're going to talk spoilers, and then, I hope you guys will tune in for the spoiler part. If not, come back when you see it, because I say go see it. All right, non-spoiler part. So as I said, the movie is divided into three acts. And the first act of the movie, as obviously most movies are divided into three acts, but they're very distinctive acts. Like, you clearly see when one begins and when one ends. So the beginning of it is the threat of Shere Khan. And, we established that Mowgli, he was more or less abandoned as a child, and then he's raised by the wolves, which is almost exactly like the 1967 movie. He has a great friendship with Bagheera, who brought him to the wolves because he needed a pack to live with. And Mowgli is more or less trying to figure out who he is in the jungle. Mowgli and Tarzan, there's many comparisons to them, but Mowgli doesn't know who he is. And he likes to do human things. He likes to play tricks. He likes to make inventions, and that's not part of the jungle. And he very much gets scorned for that by his father, who I have the voice actor right here, who is voiced by Giancarlo Esposito. Breaking Bad, The Mirror, Once Upon a Time. He's very good in his role, and he plays Aquila. And Aquila has a minor role in the film, but his role affects Mowgli overall. It's very interesting the way he's written in and out of the story. So, Shere Khan comes and pretty much makes this threat, saying, if you don't get rid of Mowgli, I'm gonna go after all of you. Like, do not protect him. So they're like, let's send him back to the man village. And the story more or less is Bagheera trying to lead him there, and then Bagheera and Mowgli get separated, which causes Mowgli to run into Kaa. And Kaa is voiced by Scarlett Johansson, and Kaa was one of the characters that I said in the opening that kind of got the shaft. In her scene she was really cool. I really liked the way that Kaa looked. I love when she was, saying the "trust in me" lines and wrapping her coils around Mowgli. It was very, very powerful and very mesmerizing as it should be. But the only problem I have is I felt like Kaa wasn't in there enough, because in the original film, Kaa was a secondary antagonist and at least tried to eat Mowgli twice. So then Baloo saves Mowgli from Kaa, and that's when Mowgli and Baloo's relationship begins. And this is so much fun. The movie does little musical numbers from the original. Baloo sings the bare necessities, and even King Louie sings I Want to Be Like You, which was so awesome that they sing the songs from the film. Now, the movie is not a musical at all, but the animals just sing it, and Tim Curry and the voice of King Louie, gosh, Christopher Walken, so good. Like, I really loved Tim Curry as Baloo, believed it 100%. It was so good. Mowgli and Baloo's relationship is very, very clear. Like, I love how it starts. Baloo saves him. Baloo says that you owe me a favor now since I saved your life, which is to get the honey. But Baloo was trying to trick monkeys to get this honey, and more or less it failed many times. And then Mowgli, used his mind to figure out how to get the honey down. And then, he's able to give it to Baloo, and Baloo's like, this kid's really cool. There's a great scene when they're on the river and they actually sing the bare necessities. I love that. And then they end up with King Louie. And the Battle of King Louie was really interesting because King Louie says he wants Mowgli in order to wield the red flower. Now, the red flower is a representation of fire, because fire in the jungle is, forbidden. It causes destruction. The animals fear it. And Louie wants to rule the jungle more so than Shere Khan. And Louie tries to more or less persuade Mowgli to give up the fire. But Mowgli doesn't really have any access to fire because he doesn't know anything about it. But then when Baloo and Bagheera come to save him, it was really fun, the whole battle scene with the monkeys and King Louie, because King Louie is huge. And I really just loved that battle scene, especially when King Louie goes after Mowgli, and he reaches his hand out and he crushes the temple that he's living in, and inadvertently crushes him as well. It was really a great scene. Now, I didn't see this in 3D. I normally am an advocate of 3D, but I feel that this scene in just 2D was spectacular with its visuals. Now, as I was saying, Giancarlo Esposito's Aquila plays a minor role in this film. He does get killed. Aquila gets killed, and that news is known by Baloo and Bagheera, but they don't tell Mowgli this. And after the Battle of King Louie, Mowgli is told, and it causes Mowgli to want to go back and stop Shere Khan. Not get revenge, but put an end to Shere Khan's tyranny. And Mowgli goes back, and it's great because Mowgli is able to steal fire from the man village. And the thing is, he doesn't realize the problem when he's holding the torch. It's causing the embers to fall on the ground, and it's causing fire. And when he gets back to his family, the wolves and everyone are like, oh my god, there's fire everywhere, like, you did this. And then Shere Khan uses that fear and tries to make them turn against Mowgli. But then what more or less happens is they say the law of the jungle, which involves a wolf pack saying. I don't have it memorized, unfortunately. And the jungle turns against Shere Khan. They protect Mowgli. Also, by the way, another couple characters that were more or less excluded from this film was the elephants, because the elephants, as told by Bagheera, were to be the creators of the forest or of the jungle. But in the original movie, they have a more fun role. They actually talk. Here. The elephants are very, very minor. They come in the movie about twice. So the elephants and Kaa were the characters who were cut out the most. I just wanted to say that because they do come back at the very, very end of the film. So there's the whole battle between Shere Khan and Mowgli and the animals. Shere Khan is so powerful, he just goes after all the animals. They can't stop him. I love when Baloo goes up against Shere Khan, and I love when Bagheera goes up against Shere Khan. It's really excellent. The battle between the Black Panther and the tiger is so visually stunning, and it looks so great. And I love how the same thing applies to Baloo with Shere Khan. It's really, really excellent, especially since they know they can't defeat Shere Khan, since Shere Khan is a force to be reckoned with. So Mowgli, he goes back to where he was more or less accidentally had burnt the jungle. And when he's down, he's trying to figure out how to lure Shere Khan around it. So, to lure Shere Khan away from, his family, and also get Shere Khan into a greater sense of danger. So what happens is Shere Khan is following Mowgli. Mowgli is setting up a trap of his own, or a trick, and what ends up happening is Shere Khan falls into the fire due to Mowgli's trickery of him, and he dies. Unlike in the original film, where I believe he just runs off scared with fire tied to his tail. But then at the end of the film, more or less, everything has been reconciled. Mowgli was even able to get rid of the fire by causing a dam to rush over the jungle and wash the fire away. It was really interesting the way that was done too. This movie I loved. I enjoyed every second of it. It's so much fun. Like I said, the acting is great, the writing is great, the humor the animals were able to partake in was really, really fun. There's some really great scenes of Baloo and Bagheera because they kind of are polar opposites, but Bagheera more or less isn't as, I don't want to say tight-ass, because I don't find that he's a tight-ass. I would say he's not as uptight as he was in the first film, but he still has that uptighty attitude, like sort of like Grimsby from The Little Mermaid. I guess would be a good reference. But him and Baloo have a great back and forth. I love that. Mowgli's relationship with all the animals was great. Idris Elba, as I said, as Shere Khan, amazing. And Lupita Nyong'o as Rakasha, so good, because she is Mowgli's moral compass throughout most of the film. And at the end of the film, Mowgli accepts who he is. I think I sort of touched on this earlier in the review. Mowgli is trying to figure out who he is because in the beginning of the movie, he's told that he can't use trickery or he can't use tricks because that's not part of the jungle. And at the end of the film, it's his tricks that are able to defeat Shere Khan, and so he accepts that he is not a wolf. He accepts that he is man, but he is man in the jungle. And it's a very beautiful ending, a beautiful self-acceptance story, a beautiful story of danger and action and epicness. It's so wonderful. Jon Favreau should hopefully direct another Disney live-action film. I really feel he would do a fantastic job here, and I want to see a second one to some degree. I don't even know what they would do because its ending is a little different because Mowgli doesn't leave the jungle. He stays, unlike in the first one. But overall, it's a stunning Disney movie that everyone needs to see. And I'm really curious what you guys feel about it in the comments below. So thank you for tuning in to my spoiler review of it. I hope you enjoyed it. And share your thoughts about it in the comments below. I love this film. I think all of you will love it too. I think it's just done so beautifully. So we'll talk really soon, and thank you for tuning in. Bye.